Wild boars are no longer just wild animals. They've become invasive threats, feared by humans for their explosive reproduction rates and destruction that's now 3 times greater than ever before. Facing an enemy that's not only growing in numbers but also cunning and fast, we have no choice but to fight back. And today, we're taking you into the heart of the action, where every shot is calculated and every move is timed to perfection. Deep within the rugged forests of Kızılkumum, a land of twisting trails and dense underbrush, veteran hunter Mehmet had spent hours scouting the terrain, carefully studying the movement patterns of wild boars before making his move. A faint rustle from the nearby brush instantly put Mehmet on high alert. After more than an hour of patient waiting, a massive boar finally emerged. Without hesitation, he adjusted his scope, held his breath, and with a single shot, the target went down. Wild boars often travel in groups, which meant the others were likely still lurking nearby. Circling the surrounding area, Mehmet quickly spotted them. And just like that, the battle reignited. By the end of the day, he had claimed several more trophies on his hunt. Also in the wild terrain of Kızılkumum, Adam experienced a hunting trip that far exceeded expectations. While surveying the area, he spotted a large herd of wild boars moving into his line of sight. And of course, Adam wasn't about to pass up such a golden opportunity. With sharp instincts and years of experience under his belt, not even the craftiest of boars could escape the barrel of his rifle. In another part of the forest, Kerem and his team had a plan in place, splitting up to ambush a narrow trail that wild boars frequently used. Earlier in the afternoon, they had set out bait, checked wind direction, and quietly built a small observation post. After hours of tense waiting, the herd finally appeared, cautiously approaching the feeding trough. Just as the boars got distracted by the food, Kerem and his team launched a surprise attack. It was a flawless operation. Within seconds, they managed to take down most of the herd. One fast-moving target tried to flee, but the moment it hit the trail, it was dropped by a clean, well-timed shot from one of Kerem's teammates. It was the perfect reward for a plan executed with precision and discipline. This takedown is guaranteed to make your heart race. Dry grasslands in the summer are full of hidden dangers. Here, wild boars frequently attack livestock, leaving local farmers struggling to protect their herds. Farouk had set up a lookout post near one of the spots most often raided by these animals. Within just a few minutes, a full-grown boar suddenly emerged from behind a patch of grass. At such close range, there were only seconds to react. Farouk didn't hesitate. He raised his rifle, took aim, and brought it down with a single precise shot. A clean execution, showcasing sharp focus and outstanding skill.
Bravo! Bravo!
In the snowy mountains of Tajikistan, Zufar faced one of the harshest challenges of all. With temperatures at minus 15 degrees Celsius, fierce winds, and rugged terrain. Do you see it? Look closely. Without sharp observation, you'd easily miss the large, well-fed herd of wild boars hiding behind dry shrubs. Then came a decisive moment. A single, deadly squeeze of the trigger, and the alpha boar dropped on the spot. The rest of the herd panicked, but Zufar was ready. He had anticipated this moment, and not a single target escaped. The hunts featured in today's video reveal the critical role of strategy, patience, and individual skill. Every shot was the result of careful planning, in-depth terrain analysis, and waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike, just once, but with absolute precision. With their devastating power and cunning ability to vanish into any terrain, they leave behind a haunting fear for anyone daring to enter their domain. Every hunt is a life or death gamble. Do the hunters have the courage and skill to outwit the deadly traps laid by these beasts? The breathless journey begins now. Dawn in the Black Forest. Mist still clung thick to the leaves, but the air reeked of death. The wild boars here had grown more aggressive, more numerous, and more destructive unchecked, unchallenged. Today, Caleb and his hunting crew were going to change that. Their familiar UTV came to a stop at the base of the hill. 15 minutes into the trek, the hounds started howling, pulling the whole team into the forest. Caleb climbed up the ridge, taking the high ground. Through the scope, everything below came into sharp, deadly focus. A fat, hulking boar easily over 500 pounds snuffling through the brush. The monster kept foraging, unaware it was being watched. Then suddenly it froze, as if it had sent something off. It turned sharply, bolting like a shot. That's when Caleb pulled the trigger. The team fanned out, each hunter heading to their post. Axel took a narrow game trail, hugging the hillside, his eyes constantly scanning the undergrowth for any sign of movement or tracks. Suddenly, the silence was shattered. A sharp rustling tore through the still air. From the dense brush above, a wild boar burst out panicked, massive, charging straight at us. The squad was already deep in the forest, navigating rugged trails and tracking every sign left on the damp forest floor. Mike led the way, eyes sharp as he moved through a narrow path swallowed by brambles. Then movement. That familiar silhouette emerged, the beast attempting to hide, but it was far too late. A volley of gunfire tore through the silence loud, relentless and final. Another target down. Another region freed from the grip of destruction. Millions can now breathe easier. The menace has been silenced. We shift our focus to another team, this time in the harsh, unforgiving Beskidi Mountains. The weather here is brutal. Snow has begun to fall, and the wind lashes in fierce bursts, warning of an incoming whiteout storm. James' team knows they're racing against time. They move quickly, seizing every precious minute before the mountains vanish under a blanket of snow. 10 minutes in, the signal comes. James advances toward the source of the commotion, eyes scanning the slope below. Through the snow-draped trees, a hulking dark shape emerges at him. Shots crack through the icy air, sharp, deliberate. The wild boar bolts, thrashing to escape the kill zone. But no amount of fury or instinct could change its fate. Moments later, it collapses. Another beast down. Another stretch of land reclaimed from chaos. The wind cut like icy blades across the face. Yet Owen, Caleb's close companion, pressed forward with his team, pushing deeper into this frozen land. No commands were needed. Each hunter swiftly moved to their pre-planned positions. Owen selected a thorny bush near the edge of the forest, a perfect vantage point. Wide view, concealed enough for a deadly ambush. 5 long minutes passed in the bitter cold, each breath crystallizing in the air. Then suddenly, a shadow emerged from the opposite side. A wild boar, foraging quietly, unaware that hell awaited in the mountains ahead. As it stepped perfectly into the crosshairs, Owen squeezed the trigger. No chance to flee. The bullet struck with final precision, faster than instinct could react. Another victory etched into the snow. Wild boars, bloodthirsty beasts, tear through crops, attack livestock, threaten lives, and cause millions of dollars in damage each year. Hunting them from helicopters is the only way to track these elusive creatures through rugged terrain where no man can easily reach. In the sky, only skill, nerve, and pinpoint accuracy determine who survives. Do we have what it takes to bring these monsters down from above? The helicopters roared into the sky, shattering the usual calm. Within minutes, the chaos on the ground came into sharp view, plowed up fields, torn earth, and destruction everywhere. There they were, a herd of wild boars slowly foraging near the edge of the field. The pilot immediately dropped altitude, bringing the chopper low over the field, clearing the path for us to begin the chase. Mark didn't hesitate. He aimed carefully and pulled the trigger. Gunfire rang out in rapid bursts, sweeping from the outer edge deep into the center of the herd. In an instant, boars dropped one after another, their bodies scattered across the field. At the same time, Leon's helicopter was circling above, scanning for signs of movement below. The roar of the chopper echoed across the sky as the massive herd of wild boars below scattered in frenzy, panicked and desperate to escape. Inside the cabin, Leon gripped his rifle tightly, eyes locked onto the fleeing boars amid the chaos. He steadied his breath, aimed swiftly, and pulled the trigger. Gunfire thundered across the field, bullets tearing through the soil. The boars were fast, but Leon was relentless. He pursued them to the end, bringing down each one with unwavering precision. My team and I quickly moved toward the open field nearby. This time, I was in charge of taking down the wild boars. The pilot steered the helicopter closer, giving me a clear shot at the targets. I gripped my rifle tightly and fired repeatedly. Gunshots rang out as the boars dropped one after another. This was a no-mercy pursuit, swift, ruthless, and precise. Out on the lush green field, the wild boars began their rampage once again. We quickly maneuvered the helicopter into position, ready for an intense sweep. The aircraft closed in, steadily narrowing the distance to the targets. But the boars were cunning. They kept shifting direction, making it difficult to get a clean shot. Our marksmen were unfazed. They dealt with this kind of trickery before. Working closely with the pilot, we closed in. Gunfire erupted in rapid bursts. Within minutes, the wild boars had fallen, putting an end to the destruction on the field. There, a herd of wild boars had gathered below, as usual. We moved in closer, the roar of the rotor echoing across the sky. Startled, the boars scattered in panic, trying to flee. But we gave them no chance to escape. Closing in fast, we opened fire. The shots rang out in quick, decisive bursts, no hesitation. Within minutes, the boars lay motionless across the freshly harvested field. The helicopter veered in, closing the distance to give us a clear shot. Within minutes, gunfire erupted, echoing through the sky. Everywhere we flew, the only thing left behind were motionless bodies of them.
I'm telling you. Oh, big pig! Big pig! 9 o'clock! 9 o'clock!
When the forest turns white with snow, wild boars descend to the fields. There's nothing left to eat in the mountains, so they tear up the grass, dig out roots, and even bite through cattle feed bags as if the land belongs to them. In just one night, they can destroy an entire season's worth of a farmer's hard work. And when that happens, hunters can't just sit still. We head out with rifles, hounds, and burning resolve in sub-zero cold. If we don't stop them, we'll be the next to lose everything. The ground was covered in white snow. The tracks of the wild boars had almost completely vanished. We brought along hunting dogs to help us track the boars more easily in these conditions. And when one of them suddenly barked loudly and dashed toward the deep forest, the hunt officially began. The hunting dog's barking echoed through the forest. I immediately scanned the area. As soon as I spotted the wild boar darting through the bushes, I quickly took position, aimed, and tracked its movement. Then I pulled the trigger. Bang! The boar collapsed the moment the shot rang out. We didn't stop. We moved to a new position where our teammate had signaled. I quickly reached the intercept point and scanned the surroundings carefully. Suddenly, a herd of wild boars burst out from the far side of the forest, charging at full speed. I raised my rifle and locked onto the lead boar. Boom! The first shot just grazed it, it got away. The second hit the next one square. It dropped on the spot. The third and fourth shots missed. The rest vanished into the trees. Just a heartbeat too slow, and everything slips away in the blink of an eye. I moved deeper in, following the tracks of the herd hiding within. Suddenly, one boar darted across my path. I raised my rifle, aimed quickly, ready to fire. The first shot missed. It kept running. I reloaded instantly and pulled the trigger again. The second shot hit, its mark of the boar collapsed on the snow, unable to go any farther. I moved to another position, following the trail to track down the wild boars. Suddenly, I heard a rustling sound in the bushes. I stopped, raised my rifle, and aimed directly toward the natives. The herd burst out. I pulled the trigger. Bang! The lead boar collapsed. These wild boars are incredibly fast. Landing a shot isn't easy. But we can't afford to hold back when farmland and livestock pens are being destroyed. As night began to fall, we knew we had to take down the remaining boars before losing their trail. While moving through the forest, I spotted a dark figure darting straight toward me. I got into position, finger tight on the trigger, waiting for the shot. When it emerged from the trees with nothing left to shield it, I fired immediately. The first two shots missed. It kept charging. I stayed calm and lined up the third shot carefully. The bullet struck it right in the neck. The boar collapsed, unable to run any farther. On the way out of the forest, just as I passed a thick bush, I caught sight of a wild boar's shadow peeking through. I immediately stepped in to block its path, raised my rifle, and aimed carefully. Hunting wild boars isn't just a passion, it's about protecting the land, the livestock, and preventing local farmers from losing everything overnight. A 2-day snowstorm had blanketed this place in deep white, forcing us to delay the hunt. But with today's weather clearing up, we returned to the mountain range. "Look there!" Henry shouted, spotting several boars below. We couldn't shoot just yet, had to find a better vantage point for a clean shot. Once I was in position, I steadied my breath and squeezed the trigger. The bullet flew like lightning, striking the boar dead on. Think it escaped? No chance. Take a look. This beast must weigh at least 150 kilograms. No doubt they had just passed through here. Sure enough, our dogs found them and started barking sharply. We tracked them slowly, waiting for Liam to get into position in case we missed our shot. Then the moment came. We signaled and opened fire. The startled boars bolted, but too late. They'd run straight into the guns of seasoned hunters.
What was that?
One more shot for a fleeing boar, just as serve for the damage they caused. Meanwhile, on another slope, a large herd of boars charged out, catching Mervyn completely by surprise. But this was the jackpot we've been waiting for. Mervyn waited until they moved into a more favorable position. He fired but missed. He didn't give up and chased after them. Thankfully, our hounds had cornered one. It was now or never. This time, the boars had no escape.